Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson along with my partner, Steve Tasker, and welcome to Charlotte.
Ryan Fitzpatrick takes over for Trent Edwards.
Buffalo has won the toss. They've deferred. Carolina will receive. Great day for football. Fifth overall meeting. Buffalo leads the series 3-1, and we're underway. Kenneth Moore inside his own 5. Moore up to the 20 where he is met and taken down. Nice special teams tackle made by Ashley Palmer. First down and 10 of the 19. D'Angelo Williams is the deep man for Carolina. They give it to him over the left side. And he gets to the 20, maybe the 21-yard line. Second down and 10 of the 19-yard line. Firing. This is Steve Smith. Smith to the 20-yard line. Breaks the tackle and gets to the 24. Third down and 5 of the 24. Williams a single setback Malone. Setting up. Scrambles underneath. Incomplete. Dwayne Jarrett, the intended receiver. He wanted a flag. Drayton Florence covering. And Carolina will have to punt it away.
Well, the Bills got some pretty good pressure, although it took them a little time to get there. Delhomme couldn't find anybody. Ends up going down. You kind of wonder about Johnson coming in. Spencer Johnson hitting Delhomme in the top of the head. Those little nicks like that sometimes cause a penalty flag. Not so in that case, and it was a good no call.
Jason Baker stands at the 9. Fred Jackson, very dangerous return man, is standing inside his own 30-yard line. No snap, handled, high, wobbly kick. Jackson signals for the fair catch and has it at the 32. So that's a 43-yard punt. First down and 10 of the 33. Here's the handoff, Marshawn Lynch. T.O. It's only one touchdown. They'll look to get it to him early and often today. Fitzpatrick down the seam, and T.O. lets it go right through his hands. That's what's going on with T.O. Drop passes.
It's been something that's followed him his entire career, and this is a guy that's put up some huge numbers. You see in the slot, uncovered, and this is what the Bills are looking for, does the out and up, and this pass is one you got to make. And that's been the one reason that people haven't really come hooting at Terrell Owens. Why is he having a great year? Well, he's dropped too many of those passes to really get much sympathy from Bills fans.
Last week, 3 catches, 13 yards with a long of 11. Fred Jackson, Marshawn Lynch line up in the backfield. Fitzpatrick looking, he can run, takes off, and Fitzpatrick gets to the 39. That's a 5-yard gain, not enough for first down. Everett Brown, the rookie out of Florida State, tracks him down, and the Bills will have to punt.
And that's going to be a key. Both these clubs are really poor defensively against the run, at least statistically. So you think they're going to make these quarterbacks beat them. And watch as Julius Peppers, this guy is having a great year. Look at the face mask doing everything they can. That is a big-time bull rush that almost caused the sack, and Fitzpatrick had to step inside of it.
So Brian Moorman punting from the 25. And this one fielded at the 25, and some collisions on special teams. A 35-yard punt and a 3-yard return. John Wendling with the special teams tackle.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 88. 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
T.O. and Fitzpatrick talking on the sideline, and T.O. has been quiet in terms of the criticism of quarterbacks. We have seen him excoriate quarterbacks in the past. San Francisco, Jeff Garcia, Philly, Donovan McNabb, and last year with Tony Romo in Dallas. But a different T.O. this year as Williams runs the football. And you played for Buffalo, 7-time Pro Bowler, went to 4 Super Bowls, live in Buffalo right now. Why is T.O. so accommodating?
Well, it's a 1-year contract. Yeah, and the guy has Hall of Fame numbers, and he's still got gas in the tank. When they signed him, in my opinion, he became their best offensive player immediately. And they wanted to get what they could out of him this year. Now, their offense hasn't been done. Has not been all his fault. He's had some drops, as we mentioned, but that's a guy that can hit the home run still at 35 years of age.
Second down and 10 at the 16. Delhomme flick, play fake, steps into it, finds Williams out of the backfield at the 20, tries to get down the sideline and does, and steps out of bounds at the 27. George Wilson there to usher him out of bounds after an 11-yard gain. But you were talking about that 1-year contract with T.O. That makes a difference.
It certainly does, because he's playing for 31 other teams. The consensus around Buffalo is he will not be a Buffalo Bill after this season is over. But he knows, and I think other teams believe, he's got some things he can offer another team. He wants another big contract, long-term contract, one more before he calls it quits on a Hall of Fame career.
Delhomme throwing out of the backfield. This time it's Jonathan Stewart. And Stewart, part of that double trouble tandem of Williams and Stewart, gains 3. And he is knocked out of bounds by Drayton Florence. And here's another impressive kid. Jonathan Stewart, second year, played his college ball at Oregon, and he's been battling an Achilles injury all year. But last week against Tampa, 17 carries, 110 yards, 2 backs, Steve, with over 100 yards rushing. Looks like they combined for 262.
You're right there. You see what they're doing. He got his finger jammed or got dislocated. They're going to try and pop that back into place for him.
2nd and 7. Here's the pitch. D'Angelo Williams following his blocker. Gets down the sideline. And he's taken down at the 37. Terrence McGee with the tackle.
And they were great. They came in together and sat down, and both of them simultaneously gave the offensive line all the credit in the world for the great game they had last week in Tampa Bay, and rightfully so. You got to do some things up front to make that happen.
Here's another run. D'Angelo Williams, and he squirts through and gets to the 42. But in this league right now, you need 2 runners.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, you look around the league. I mean, even in Buffalo, they've got Marshawn Lynch and Freddie Jackson. You look around here in Carolina, of course, and we've been talking about D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. You look in New York Giants, Brandon Jacobs and Bradshaw, McGahee and Rice, Ray Rice in Baltimore. If you've got it going in the run game, it's because you have 2 guys back there.
Such a physical game now. You need 2 great runners, and the Carolina Panthers have him. Mike Goodson has checked in. He's a rookie out of Texas A&M in the backfield. And they give it to him. Tries to reverse his field. Nothing doing. Nice tackle, George Wilson. Loss of 2 on the play.
And this has been one of the things, and you see there as Stewart's running off the field. They were messing with his hand. We don't know exactly what the extent of it is, but, you know, for a running back, guys, you see him run into the locker room, you're not too worried, because as long as his legs are good, the guy can play as a running back.
So the Carolina Panthers want to take advantage of a Bills defense that is ranked dead last in the NFL in defending the run, giving up 181.8 yards per game. 2nd down and 12 from the 40. Jeff King, the tight end, in motion. Here's the pitch. Goodson around the corner. Goodson makes the first man miss and gets up to the 44. Picks up 4. Chris Draft, 11th year out of Stanford, comes up and makes a play.
Yeah, what they're doing, you see, Carolina Panthers will motion over, block down on the outside, and pull both the interior linemen out front. This is a student body right, and the Panthers ran it once effectively and got a couple of yards here. That's a good job by the Panthers. What they're doing is running hard to one direction and then try and cut it back on the next player. So that has really hurt the Buffalo Bills in the past. That cut back by the running back has yielded some enormous plays for opponents.
3rd down, 8 at the 44. And the Panthers need to go to the 48.5 for first down of Buffalo. Delhomme with time to the sideline, and it's caught. Dante Rosario, does he get there? I do not think so. Keith Ellison keeps him away from the first down marker. So on 3rd and 8, he picks up 6.
And they're thinking about, yeah, they thought for a moment about going for it, but then when it turned out to be a 3rd or a 4th and about 2.5, John Fox waved the punt team onto the field. It's a smart play.
John Fox has led this team to a Super Bowl back in 2003, an NFC championship game in 2005. A man that took over a 1-15 team rather in 2002. And he has been a pillar here in Charlotte. Baker from the 34. Fred Jackson back deep. Jackson over to the sideline. And that ball takes a Carolina bounce, just falls dead at the 22, maybe the 23, a 29-yard punt. And welcome back to Bank of America Stadium here in downtown Charlotte, North Carolina. 1st down and 10 for the Bills, their 2nd drive of the game at the 22. Fitzpatrick to the sideline. And that one almost picked off, intended for Lee Evans. 2nd down and 10 at the 22. Fitzpatrick out of the shotgun. Here's the draw play. Marshawn Lynch. And Lynch gets to the 30, an 8-yard gain. Julius Peppers brings him down. Marshawn Lynch, just such a hard runner, Steve.
Yeah, and they ran it right up inside over the top of two rookie offensive linemen for the Buffalo Bills. Been a little maligned. It's Andy Levitre and Jeff Handgartner, who was a Carolina Panther just a year ago, and Eric Wood. These aren't the years they're in the league, folks. That's the number of starts that these guys have. Today, Jamon Meredith, his first start ever.
And the timeout called by Carolina. And this one thrown to the near side, incomplete. Richard Marshall defensively, and Buffalo will have to punt.
Trying to get the ball outside to Steve Johnson. He's playing pretty well. And Steve Johnson, one of the backup receivers, he and Justin Jenkins, a couple of big guys who play a lot of special teams, getting a chance to play regular wide receiver in this game.
So Brian Moorman from the 15. Munnerlyn back deep at the 22. This one driven back. Munnerlyn fielded and is dropped at the 10. Some terrific special teams play. Justin Jenkins with the tackle. And welcome back. Jonathan Stewart has a hand injury. His return is questionable, as you see Coach Fox having a chat with his star player on the sideline.
I think we'll probably see him back in. He was trying to take handoffs on the sidelines.
Third drive for Carolina, starting inside their own 20 from the 13. Delhomme with time over the middle, picked off. Guess who? The rookie, Byrd again. Byrd down the sideline. Jairus Byrd with his 4th interception. We told you he was a ball hawker, and he comes up with a big play here in the first half. 38-yard return.
Well, Jake Delhomme made the play action. He drops back. He's not under any much pressure. He just lets this go, and it's got no shot. I mean, this ball flies way over the head of Gary Barnidge, and Jairus Byrd just center fields it.
Jairus Byrd, 2nd-round pick, gives his team a great opportunity here. First down and 10 at the 7-yard line. Marshawn Lynch straight away. And Lynch. Here's the handoff. Lynch brings it back. Touchdown, Buffalo. Jairus Byrd makes it possible. And finally, the Buffalo Bills score a rushing touchdown.
Well, up until this game, they'd gone 208 at rushing attempts without scoring a touchdown. The closest team to them was Kansas City. But you see here, as soon as you call it, Gus, as soon as Marshawn Lynch cut it back, there was nobody home. Carolina got caved completely in on the left side, and it was a walk-in.
Extra point by Ryan Lindell, up and good. Welcome back. Buffalo with a 7-0 lead. 11 interceptions on the season now for Jake Delhomme. We talked to him yesterday. He told us that he continues to be confident even though the offense has struggled and he has had a slow start to his season. Kenneth Moore from the 1-yard line up to the 10 and goes down at the 15. First down and 10 at the 15, and the Bills keep it on the ground. But you have to be impressed with the rookie Jairus Byrd. 4 interceptions on the season. He played his college ball, as we mentioned, at Oregon. He had 17 interceptions during his career, tied for 2nd all-time with that Oregon squad. And his father was a terrific player, 1983 first-round draft pick Gil Byrd. Played at San Jose State and was a 2-time Pro Bowl selection while playing with the Chargers. 2nd down and 9. Here's Delhomme rolling out of the pocket, throws on the run. That one caught. Steve Smith, nice catch.
That was a nice out route, finally getting Steve Smith into the, and you can hear the crowd react. Jake Delhomme, and that interception was not caused by pressure or anything else. That was a bad throw down the middle. And you talk about Jarris Byrd making a great play. Well, that one was thrown right into his lap. And now with the rolling out, moving Jake Delhomme outside the pocket, it buys a lot of extra time and gives Steve Smith a chance against one-on-one coverage to get open on the sideline for his second catch of the game.
And Jarris' father, Gil Byrd, is currently a quality control coach with the Chicago Bears. Here's D'Angelo Williams, pops it outside, gets down the sideline, and runs out of bounds. Paul Posluszny ushering him out of bounds.
Jake Delhomme, there's one thing I've noticed about him. He doesn't have a good secondary receiver that he trusts.
Williams, stop and start. Great hesitation move to pick up 7. Marcus Stroud with the tackle.
And it happens to some quarterbacks, Gus. They get into the habit that Steve Smith is so good. I mean, you just cannot slice it any other way. It's hard for a receiver to be good in this league. It's almost impossible for a receiver to be good enough like Steve Smith has been to be a legitimate MVP candidate. So Jake Delhomme says, you know, I got this guy, and he got into the habit, I think, of just trying to force it into Steve Smith a little too much.
First down and 10 at the 42. 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons for Smith. Underneath, nice one-handed catch. Dante Rosario picks up 10 yards on the play. Drayton Florence upends him. Rosario in his 3rd year out of Oregon. Spectacular move here.
Wow, and watch this catch. He's going to reach back, and you see guys do that once in a while in practice.
Catch it and tuck it.
Yeah, when they don't have to worry about, you know, blowing a game or something. You got a lot of confidence pulling that down in a game, one-handed, turning around behind you. What a great catch.
Came into this game with 8 catches, has 2 now. First down over the middle. And it's caught by Jeff King, his tight end. Delhomme very confident going to Jeff King and Dante Rosario. All 4 of his touchdowns have been thrown to these 2 men.
And this is an offense now. You can see today the Panthers are really throwing the football in about 5 or 6 yard gaps. You know, just getting the ball short down the field, trying to move the ball, just complement the run game. Possession of the football is key for Carolina with a run game like they have, and they're trying to maximize their passing game.
Stewart back in, and Stewart breaking a tackle, roughing his way through the middle, and picks up 9 yards on the play. George Wilson, the safety, coming up and making a tackle again.
And this is the kind of thing you saw a week ago in Tampa Bay. The offensive line of the Panthers just moving and pushing the line of scrimmage down the field. You see there just pushing guys out of the way, moving the line of scrimmage, and the back just comes in, snuggles in behind him, and then finds the crease. That's a huge offensive line, great running game.
On that final drive against Tampa last week, Carolina ran 15 of 16 plays. Here's a screen, D'Angelo Williams. And D'Angelo Williams gets to the 30. Terrence McGee with the stop and a flag.
Illegal formation. Offense number 78 was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. First down.
There's 79, Jeff Otah, the right tackle, and that's what happens once in a while. These tackles, particularly when they're going to throw the football. Right here, you see he's got to move up on the line of scrimmage, and it counts where his helmet is. It has to break the belt of the center who's bent over with his hand on the ball. The front of Otah's helmet has to be closer to the ball than the center's belt, and it wasn't on that play.
8th play of the drive that started at the 15. Delhomme with the handoff. And that will take us to the end of the first quarter. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker, Bills with a 7-0 lead. Panthers driving though. Second down and 15 at the Buffalo 40. Musa Muhammad in motion, play action. Delhomme steps into his throw over the middle. D'Angelo Williams out of the backfield. And Williams gets to the 27, a 13-yard pickup. Third down and 3 at the 38. At the 28, excuse me, here's the Wildcat. And D'Angelo Williams dives forward. Let's see where they spot it. He needed to get inside the 25. Looks like he'll be a few inches short. Was Lesney with the tackle.
And this is Jake Delhomme lined up on Drayton Florence as a wideout, and that's what I'd coach my quarterback to do, run the other direction. And this is the wildcat of the Panthers. He's got to get past the 30. Doesn't quite do it. John Fox wants a measurement, wants to know exactly how far it is. This is a 4th down and very short. He asked for the measurement, and you got to think, you know, there's a line or a distance in his mind, a go for it or not distance, and this is almost a full yard short. He's thinking about it.
With the kind of running game they have, you would think they'd go for it, but instead,
John Casey.
They're sending on the field goal unit.
The crowd doesn't like it. And it seems, you know, it almost seems like, for us sitting at home, Gus, you think, wow, they're running the ball so well. Why don't they just go for it? All they need is 6 inches. But, 3 points is a big, big play in this game. Take it. It's early on. Then come back and make hay.
43-yard attempt by Casey. It's down, up. And he hooked it. No good. 39-year-old John Casey misses a 43-yarder. Look at the time of possession. Carolina dominating the football, but they have nothing to show for it. First down now for the Bills at the 33. Fred Jackson lines up in the backfield. They fire to the far side, and it's dropped. Josh Reed couldn't hold on. Second down and 10 at the 33. Fitzpatrick is 0 for 4. Jackson the lone setback. Fitzpatrick dropping, fires down the field. T.O. He's incomplete. He underthrew him. Terrell Owens was open, but Fitzpatrick just couldn't put it on him.
Yeah, he released the ball too late, Gus. When you got a player like T.O., he gets even with the defender. You got to throw it before he's past the guy. Fitzpatrick waited, and T.O. didn't even want to really jump for that because he felt like the defender might pull it down. Fitzpatrick took a hard shot at the back end of that, but man, that's a ball that was thrown just a little late because Fitzpatrick didn't trust T.O. to beat the guy deep.
Third down and 10 at the 33. And some movement on the Bills' offensive line.
False start, offense number 67. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Andy Levitre. As you take a look at Dick Duran, how much pressure is he under, Steve?
Oh, I think he's under some pressure to produce. There's no question. The last 3 years, 7-9, and then the slow start this year. This is a team that's been seemingly constantly plagued by injuries, and he told us it's been one bad thing after another, but it gets to a point where you have to produce no matter what, and I think Dick Duran is there.
Third down at 15. Fitzpatrick over the middle. And it's caught, won't be enough for the first down. Lee Evans with the grab in traffic, gains 6. Julius Peppers trying to get to the quarterback.
Well, this guy is a great pass rusher working against a rookie right tackle. And this is a guy, Peppers, who's been playing really well the last couple of weeks, a couple of sacks 2 weeks in a row. Last week, key in the victory over Tampa Bay.
Manerlin is back at the 20-yard line for Carolina. Mormon drives it. Manerlin from the 20. And shot down. Nicely done. John Wendling again. T.O. 0 so far.
He had a drop there, too, although it would have been a great catch. And wherever he's going on the football field, Carolina's making sure there are 2 Panthers in his vicinity.
Steve Smith, another great one. Hand off D'Angelo Williams. And Leslie brings him down. D'Angelo Williams just has great balance and a center of gravity. You see a lot of scat backs like him. Ray Rice, Maurice Jones-Drew, D'Angelo Williams, guys that are small guys but can really navigate through traffic.
And no question, Musa Muhammad stays down the field, and D'Angelo Williams staying there to cheer him up. You're right. D'Angelo Williams is one of those backs, Gus, that when you watch him run, you think, wow, he runs just right. Makes all the right cuts. If there's a yard to be had, he gets it and maybe a couple more. He makes guys miss. He breaks tackles. And he also has the speed to outrun people. He's a good, solid, strong, and really quality NFL back. And I think not only are they lucky to have him, they're also lucky to have Jonathan Stewart right behind him, who's equally talented. I mean, this is a really, really loaded stable of running backs here in Carolina.
Another kid that's very similar, Frank Gore out in San Francisco. And these guys aren't very big. 5'10", 5'11", 205, 210. Explosive. Delhomme looking to the sideline. Wide open is tight end Jeff King. Down the sideline, and he's knocked out of bounds by George Wilson. But Jake Delhomme doing a fine job. That's a 15-yard gain, checking down and finding the open receiver.
And he was under no duress. He's got all kinds of looks, one place, two place, then the third place way out to the sideline, has plenty of time, never gets touched, even after he throws it after such a long time in the pocket. No pressure by the Bills defense.
Delhomme 9 of 11, 76 yards. First down and 10 at the 42. D'Angelo Williams in the backfield by himself. And they give it to him straight ahead. Bounces it out. Cuts it in. Williams! Power running. Downhill. He gets to the 40. A gain of 18. Jarris Byrd with the saving tackle. But there he goes again.
Now Jake Delhomme dropped back. They spread the offensive line. Watch it. The offensive line pushes guys way out of the way. Everybody gets a hat on a hat, and D'Angelo Williams hits the line of scrimmage in full gallop. What a great running play as the Bills get spread out in the pass drop and then have to regroup and catch him from behind.
It's a gain of 17, longest of the day. Now it's Stewart trying to answer, and he's met by Posluszny. Former Penn State middle linebacker makes the tackle. Only a 3-yard gain this time. There's Paul. What a nice young man. We spoke with him yesterday in the team meeting, and he was concerned with what Penn State was doing against my Michigan Wolverines, smacking them around at the big house.
Yeah, but he's back in the mix at linebacker. Had a recurrence of a broken arm he suffered a few years ago. Just a little setback, got it banged, has a plate in his arm. Had to get that rechecked in a few weeks of rehab, and he's back on the field.
Second down and 7. Delhomme out of the backfield. Stewart. And Stewart met and taken down by Terrence McGee.
And the Bills do a nice job of rallying to the football. It looked as though Stewart was going to have a lot of room to run, but then Drayton Florence, Jarris Byrd come up. And that's McGee. It's a great job, and a lot of guys rallying to the football. And these NFL defenses, both these defenses, Gus, despite their problems against the run, they can really scoot sideline to sideline. They can rally to the football. Both teams mentioned the speed of the front seven of both of each other as they prepared to play them offensively.
So a big 3rd down and 6 for Delhomme at the 37. They need to go to the 31 for a first down. Moore in motion and a whistle. Maybe a false start against Carolina.
Delay of game. Offense.
Wow.
5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's all on Jake.
Yeah, you can see him just before the ball was snapped, jumping up and down, clapping his hands, trying to get the football to be snapped. Nothing more frustrating than having a chance at 3rd down. He couldn't get Khalil, his center's attention. Watch Jake Delhomme. He looks like he's waiting for his turn at the candy counter and can't wait for the line to get close.
So Delhomme, instead of faced with a 3rd and 6, is faced with a 3rd and 11. 1 of 4 on 3rd down conversions. And he'll throw it. Delhomme. That one knocked away. Thrown behind Steve Smith. Very good coverage by Reggie Corner, the 2nd-year player out of Akron.
Yeah, Steve Smith, you're going to see right at the bottom of your screen. He's going to go out, and this is Reggie Corner working against him, and there's some, and he does get held. Reggie Corner gets up, gets his collar, pulls him away from the football. That might have been completed. I think it would have been had he not been held.
Jason Baker has dropped 5 punts inside the 20 the past 3 games with 0 touchbacks. Jackson back inside the 10. Baker end over end Aussie kick. It should bounce back into the field, and does. That's why he's been dropping it inside the 20. The Buffalo Bills taking over at their own 4-yard line. Ryan Fitzpatrick, first start of the year, in for the injured Trent Edwards. Fred Jackson lining up in the backfield. Now Fitzpatrick audibling. And some movement on the left side.
False start. Offense number 77. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
As the left tackle, Demetrius Bell.
And I think that was a defensive false start. They stemmed into, as you see there, that's Godfrey coming down into the box, and that made Ryan Fitzpatrick have to change the play once again, and to change it a second time caused his offensive line to jump offside.
And a timeout, I believe, called by Carolina prior to the snap. And welcome back. Buffalo now faced with a first down and 12. Julius Peppers not in on this play. Bills at their own 2-yard line. Fitzpatrick looks like he's calling the play at the line. Here's the handoff, a safety. It's a safety. Great job by the Carolina Panthers. Some gang tackling, and they're on the board.
Well, up to that point, Gus, Buffalo had only had 1 first down, 21 rushing yards, only 6 yards through the air, and it didn't get any better on this play. Carolina absolutely got huge penetration off the left side of the offense.
Hollis Thomas.
Demetrius Bell got cut right off in front of, and Freddie Jackson had nowhere to run. I spoke to Ron Meach, the defensive coordinator of the Carolina Panthers. He said the one guy that has made a difference since the bye week for the Panthers has been Hollis Thomas. Number 75, the big defensive tackle, gave them some beef and some help down inside the defensive tackle spot, which allowed guys like Julius Peppers, Tyler Brayton, Charles Johnson to get sacks on the outside, and you can see there, do some things in the run game as well.
Hollis Thomas is blowing up that play. And here's a man that was picked up after being released by St. Louis this year. He signed October 1st. His last 3 years spent playing in New Orleans. Spent 10 years with the Eagles, starting in 1996. And he comes up with a huge play. Panthers on the board now will receive the football from the 11-yard line. McNairland, and he gets crunched. Bills doing a lot of hitting on special teams. Corey McIntyre, 68-yard punt and a 13-yard return.
Yeah, the special teams have really done a nice job with field position, but the defense has been on the field a long, long time for the Buffalo Bills. This Carolina offense is a ball control offense, and I think the Buffalo Bills are going to have to figure out a way to put pressure on Jake Delhomme and force some more bad throws and perhaps get some turnover to keep their offense on the field.
Jeff King, D'Angelo Williams line up in the eye. Play action on first down. Delhomme dumps it off D'Angelo Williams. Trying to get outside and does. Down the sideline, out of bounds at the 35. Nice running after the catch again. This time he gains 7. Chris Draft stops him. D'Angelo Williams, 3 catches, 31 yards, 11 carries, 53 yards. He's an all-purpose running back.
Carolina Panthers doing Jake Delhomme a favor. As you mentioned at the top, Gus, he's thrown a lot of interceptions, but today they're giving him throws of not more than 5 yards or so to make. He's got plenty of time to survey the field, give his routes a chance to develop, and it's just a pitch and catch game.
Second down and short. They swing it out. Steve Smith, and Smith gets the first down. Flag on the play. And Smith to the 40. But let's see, a 6-yard pickup.
This is going to be a personal foul for a late hit out of bounds on the young rookie, Jarris Byrd, I believe.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, offense, number 87. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 38. Penalties offset, second down.
That would be 31.
So that's Muhsin Muhammad, the 14-year veteran, 36 years old. And Jarris Byrd. And you look around the NFL nowadays, in one position that's defining good teams, that's that free safety or strong safety.
You're right, Gus. Every good defense, every great team has one.
Ed Reed, Sean Dawkins, Bob Sanders playing today for the first time after injuring his knee with Indianapolis.
Troy Polamalu.
Troy Polamalu, yes. And the Bills may have found something in Jairus Byrd, and that's because, Steve, Buffalo playing without their 2 starting safeties. Brian Scott has been out for 4 weeks with an ankle. Dante Whitner also has an ankle injury, so George Wilson moves up, and Jairus Byrd, the rookie, move up.
They've been very happy. Yeah, they've been very happy with the way Byrd has played, absolutely no question. But he wasn't supposed to be on the field.
First down and 10 to the 38, Delhomme again. Bat it down. Somebody got a hand on it. It may have been Marcus Stroud. Big fella, Stroud.
It might have been Spencer Johnson as well. Watches Jake Delhomme. He's going to step in, and this coming right at him. You're right, it's Stroud. And he is big.
Having a great year. Talk about a really, really talented athlete. Stroud fell out of favor with Jack Del Rio in Jacksonville. Came to Buffalo, and he's second on the team in tackles. Has 2 sacks, getting great pressure. Second down and 10. This time it's Stewart, trying to cut it back. Found a little room.
Getting a good push up front with the offensive line, Carolina. I think that's the strength of this football team. And we talked to John Fox on Friday, Gus, and he just said it flat out. Philosophically, we are built to run the football. Our offensive linemen are big. They run block better than they pass block, and we are going to run the football. And that's, it's in his DNA. From the time he broke into the coaching ranks in New York City with the Giants, Bill Parcells, you just don't do anything except run the football first.
Third down, 6 at the 42. Buffalo showing blitz. Here they come. Delhomme. Flag on the play. Delhomme gets out of dodge, scrambles for a first down, but let's see. Maybe holding called against.
Personal foul, shot block, offense number 34, 15-yard penalty, third down.
That's D'Angelo Williams.
Yeah, and that happens on a blitz sometimes. I don't think D'Angelo Williams it's a safety call because players get injured doing it, but I think this is just panic right here. You can't hit a defensive player coming in who's already engaged with an offensive player, and you see there's 2 guys going high-low on Stroud, and that's the penalty. And I think that's just a panic on D'Angelo Williams. He saw Stroud coming in, had to get him, and of course the right tackle, Jeff Otaw, also came in. If Otaw hadn't stepped in, it would have been an okay block.
And you understand the panic. Williams is 5'9", 217. Marcus Stroud is 6'6", 310.
Yeah, you go low.
And moves like a freight train. Third down and a long 20 at the 28. Delhomme, Steve Smith. And Steve Smith picks up 10 yards on the play. Posluszny and Byrd combining on the tackle, and Carolina will have to punt.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the way this game's going, Gus, the Bills defense is holding its own against this good, powerful running game of Carolina, but sooner or later, the fact that they're on the field all the time is going to wear this Bills defense down, and they're susceptible to the big play. At least they've shown that in the first 5 games.
Time of possession, the Panthers have had it for 20 minutes and 11 seconds. The Bills for 3:56. Baker and Jackson over to the sideline, starts from the 11. Jackson gets to the 15. First down and 10 at the 16. By the way, we haven't heard from JB today. I don't think he likes it. Here's a handoff, Marshawn Lynch. And nothing. Loss of 1, Landon Johnson.
The Bills are really having a hard time getting a push on the interior of the Carolina defensive line. Watch Handgartner up front, then slipping off to the linebacker. Just not enough push. And I'm telling you, Hollis Thomas has been a real find for the Carolina Panthers. He's making a big difference down inside.
Second down at 11 at the 15-yard line. Fitzpatrick out of the shotgun. Draw play. Marshawn Lynch again, and once again he goes nowhere. Hollis Thomas, first man to him.
You can can see. That's just a guy, he's a tree stump, and here he pushes the play right back into Julius Peppers. Julius Peppers has it shut off on the outside. Tougher defensive end to beat inside and outside, but Julius Peppers is athletic enough to force that play back inside and help on the tackle once it does.
3rd down and 11 to the 15. The Bills have 1 first down so far in this game and need to go to the 26. Fitzpatrick throws. T.O. with the catch. First down, Buffalo, as Terrell Owens goes up high. An 18-yard gain for one of the NFL's all-time greats and surefire first ballot Hall of Famer.
And this is the spark, the first sign of life that the Bills offense has shown. They got the touchdown on the big turnover by the defense, and then Terrell Owens goes way up and catches this ball. And for the first time, the Buffalo Bills have a little something positive going offensively.
First catch of the day for T.O. Let's see if he can find a rhythm. First down and 10 at the 33. He lines up in the slot at the bottom of your screen. Fitzpatrick in trouble and sack. Great pressure being applied. Tyler Brayton, 7th year out of Colorado, comes up with the sack of the quarterback, a loss of 9.
And this is a Bears front, an old 46 Bears front defense by the Carolina Panthers. 2 guys on the outside. You got to pick one of them. Somebody's got to pick one of those guys up. One's in coverage, the other one has to be blocked. The Bills did neither, and Brayton gets right in on Fitzpatrick.
So that makes it 2nd down and 19 at the 24. Fitzpatrick over the middle, and it's Josh Reed. A 6-yard gain. Landon Johnson with the stop. First catch of the day for Josh Reed. 13 on the season.
Yeah, and the Panthers are really getting good pressure on Fitzpatrick. Their front 4 is really doing a nice job up front. They've got great speed at linebacker as well. So Ryan Fitzpatrick may be in a position, Gus, where he's going to have to extend plays with his legs. You know the Carolina Panthers are going to chase him. He's got to buy himself more time. And they'll go down to the 2-minute warning and regroup here.
All right, a look at the quarterback comparison. Jake Delhomme, the 1 big interception. And Fitzpatrick has struggled. 3 of 8, only 30 yards. Faced with the 3rd down and 13 at the 30. Fitzpatrick steps up, avoids the rush, fires across his body, incomplete. Some good hitting going on by Chris Harris as he came up from his safety position and delivered a lick.
Well, Fitzpatrick just moved out of the pocket, got himself some time. Julius Peppers chases him right to the quarterback, throws it across his body, just doesn't get it out in front of Stupar, and that's why it was incomplete. If he gets that out front of Stupar, he can pull that in and brace for impact.
Ireland back deep as Mormon forces him to backpedal. He picks it up at the 15. Still on his feet, flag on the play, thrown late from behind. And it will go against Carolina, 55-yard
During
punt.
return, illegal block in the back, receiving team, number 42. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Bills special teams putting Carolina back into their own end and also getting themselves out of a hole that their offense couldn't get out of.
First down and 10 at the 10-yard line. Carolina with 1 timeout remaining. Buffalo showing blitz, and they back off. Underneath, incomplete. Nicely done. Drayton Florence knocks that out of Steve Smith's hands.
Yeah, the Bills showed blitz, and they made Jake Delhomme go to his hot read, which is Steve Smith, as always, and Drayton Florence was expecting it.
See, what does hot read mean?
Well, it means you've got to get it out of there.
I see that on PlayStation.
It's like a hot potato. If the quarterback doesn't get rid of it, he's stuck with it, and he's going to get hit in the mouth. So they call it hot, as in you've got to get rid of it because it's in your hand and it's hot.
Second down and 10 to the 10. Low snap handled by Delhomme. Fires incomplete. And Steve Smith is upset once again. He's a fiery one.
He's looking right down at his own bench. He's not looking at the official or anything else. He's looking at his bench. He didn't like that play call. And this play, I mean, he gets hung out by this. Watch, this is like the third or fourth time they've tried this. Musa Muhammad got called for a holding trying to block for him, and that would have been a dangerous catch. Jeff Davidson, offensive coordinator, calling those plays. And Steve Smith didn't like that one.
3rd down and 10 at the 10. And they hand it off to Williams. D'Angelo Williams! And he picks up the 1st down. Wow. On 3rd down and 10, he picks up 12. Schobel with the tackle. And the drive is still alive for Carolina.
That was a nice play call by Jeff Davidson, I'll tell you that. What a nice timely play call.
Hurry up offense, Delhomme. Underneath, in the air, incomplete. D'Angelo Williams, the intended receiver. Too much hot sauce on that one for Jake the Snake.
Yeah, he tried to force that one in there to give Williams a chance to catch it with his body and accept the blow, and it just, the defense was right there. That ball, that's always so dangerous, particularly inside your own 25-yard line, getting that ball batted high up into the air, because there's always more defenders around than there are offensive players, and it's almost always intercepted.
2nd down and 10. Williams with 96 total yards in the 1st half for all you fantasy league guys out there. Delhomme caught. And that's Gary Barnage. A 12-yard gain. Keith Ellison with the tackle. Panthers quickly to the line of scrimmage. They still have a timeout left with 49 seconds to go. Here comes a blitz. Posluszny picked up to the sideline. Scooped up. Florence couldn't hold on. Drayton Florence will be thinking about that one all week.
Oh, he made a great break on the ball. He was guarding Kenneth Moore. Watch as he comes out. His eyes are inside. Then watch it. Sees the ball. Moore stumbles. And that's really what gave Florence the chance to step in and get it. And then couldn't hang on to it. And that's sometimes guys, that's why defensive backs are defensive backs. They don't make catches like that. Otherwise, they'd be playing offense. And that's a ball that you got to think he's got to catch.
2nd down and 10 at the 34. 37 seconds to go. Delhomme over the middle. Caught by his tight end. And he gets inside Buffalo territory. Nicely done by Dante Rosario. Ellison with another tackle, a 20-yard gain. 7-2 the score, Buffalo. 29 seconds remaining in the 1st half. Jake Delhomme trying to cobble together a drive here. D'Angelo Williams lines up as a receiver at the top of your screen. Empty backfield. Delhomme. Underneath. Steve Smith wants to get down the sideline, doesn't, out of bounds. And already they're close to field goal range. That's a 17-yard gain. Posluszny and McGee there to push him out.
And that's all Steve Smith. Watch as he comes across the bottom of your screen right there, stops in the middle, then keeps going. Delhomme finds him, and then he just outruns the pursuit, gets a nice block from Williams to get to the outside. You got to find completely different ways sometimes that you haven't thought of to get your star player the ball, and that's one way they can get it to Smith, run him all the way across the field.
No timeouts left for Carolina, so they can't take a sack. Here's Delhomme to the sideline and incomplete.
And that's a smart play by Delhomme. That was going to be a quick hitch to Steve Smith, well covered by McGee, and if he throws it out there, it could be picked off, or Steve Smith might get tackled inbounds. Neither one was acceptable, so he did the right thing and threw it over the top of his head.
Delhomme looking. Casey has already missed a 43-yarder. He hooked it, a little too much draw on it for the left-footed kicker. 2nd down and 10. Mike Goodson comes in. He's in the backfield for Carolina. Delhomme looking to the sideline again. Caught and downed by Muhammad at the 25. Now Carolina has to hurry. Delome's got to get to the line of scrimmage and spike it. 2 seconds. And with a second remaining, they do it. And here comes Casey. Nice execution by Jake Delhomme and the Panthers offense.
Yeah, it looked like they might not get it done, but they did have plenty of time. And they did have it. That was on a second down play that they did that, or a third down play that gave them a 4th down opportunity. So they played that exactly right, did the Panthers.
Casey in to attempt a 39-yarder. Baker is his holder. Nice snap, good hold up, and he blew it again. This time he pushed it. First he hooks it, now he pushes it, and John Fox can say nothing. And welcome back, 7-2. Buffalo with the lead over the Panthers as we prepare to start the third quarter. Gus Johnson along with Steve Tasker, and let's take a look at the halftime stats. And when you look at the time of possession, it tells a story for the Panthers, especially when it's when you have a team that has only 2 points.
Yeah, exactly. And it really, the Buffalo defense has done an outstanding job of pitching a shutout to the Carolina offense in the first half. They got the turnover that set up the only touchdown of the game, and they've held Carolina completely off the board offensively, which says something given 22 minutes of time of possession in that first half. Carolina's got all kinds of first down. And if you look, the difference has been 2 missed field goals. And you look, the halftime show's going on. John Casey has come out and started to get his act together here in the second half. He busted up right in the middle of the halftime show and said, listen, I got to get right. I mean, missed 2 field goals. He pulled one, pushed the second, and that's the reason that Carolina does not have the lead here as we start the second half.
So Buffalo will get the ball to start the second half. Fred Jackson camps under it. Starts from the 5.
That's a double. That's a double.
Jackson breaks free and gets close to the 40. Nice piece of running, 34-yard return by Jackson. Sherrod Martin with the tackle on special teams. So when you look at the Buffalo offense, very similar to last week against the Jets, they have struggled, but the defense continues to keep them in the game.
You're right. Last week the defense gave up 308 yards on the ground. You think there's no way they can win that football game. Then you look and you see that the defense got 6 interceptions, so that balanced out. And today the defense is doing another wonderful job keeping this offense in the game.
McIntyre and Lynch line up in the backfield. Lynch is the deep back. Fitzpatrick throwing on first down. In trouble, scrambling, and dives forward. Picks up a few. They say he fumbled the ball. But he should be considered down. A 4-yard gain. Brayton and Lewis combining on the tackle.
Yeah, it's interesting on this first play from scrimmage from the second half. Fitzpatrick had all kinds of time. You see there that ball does come out, but he pulls it back in. Actually, he ends up stepping up out of the pile with that ball. I don't know how he did it, but he did.
Second down and 6 at the 42. Marshawn Lynch with room. And Lynch picks up a first down, gets to midfield. Gain of 8. Marshawn Lynch last week, 19 carries, 61 yards. He's the fastest Bills running back to rush for 1,500 career yards. Did it in 19 games. Has led the team in rushing in 27 of his 37 career games.
And as the Bills come out after halftime, you see there's a player down on the field, a Buffalo Bill. But if the Bills come out after halftime making a few adjustments, Ryan Fitzpatrick had lots of time to throw the football on first down, and then they picked up their first down on the second play from scrimmage with a run game.
All right, 7-2, start of the third. Back after this. Derek Fine gets up and now jogging on the sideline. Looks like he's okay. First down and 10 at midfield for Buffalo. Fitzpatrick, short drop, far side, T.O. dropped it again. Thrown a little bit behind him. But that's a ball you have to catch.
Yeah, it could have been a much better throw on this one. Fitzpatrick's going to put this ball out there. You want this ball right on his body, maybe a little bit towards the line of scrimmage. This is high and outside, and it's hard for a receiver to come out. That ball's coming at a high rate of speed. Get both hands out there.
Second drop today for Terrell Owens. Second down. Fitzpatrick looking for Owens again. Throws the deep ball. T.O. out of bounds.
Well, they've taken a couple of shots deep, and it's been one of the criticisms of this Bills offense. They don't go deep often enough, and you see there getting up the football field. I mean, this is Richard Marshall had a huge cushion on Terrell Owens, and you still feel like maybe you've got a chance to fit that in there. I think that they want to take some shots down the football field, but they have not really given Terrell Owens a chance to catch one of those yet.
Third down and 10. They need to go to the 40 for first down. Fitzpatrick steps up. He's in trouble. And he goes down. This may be a sack or no gain on the play. Julius Peppers with pressure.
Yeah, Julius Peppers coming right up off the outside. Meredith doing his best to run him past the pocket, and Peppers just stays with it. And unless Ryan Fitzpatrick can get rid of the football sooner or later, Julius Peppers is going to run him down.
Ryan Moorman has 186 career punts, dropped inside the 20, second most in team history behind Chris Moore, and he does it again. Panthers have been playing with a long field all day. This is the 6th time they've started inside their own 20-yard line. Terrell Owens frustrated on the sideline. First down and 10 at the 12. Here's D'Angelo Williams. And Williams gets him 15. 4-yard gain. Keith Ellison with the tackle. So the story in the first half for the Panthers.
There you go. And the interception there, the third possession in, really led to the Buffalo touchdown. Otherwise, the Buffalo offense hasn't moved the football at all, but 2 missed field goals, and that gives you the lead in this game. So the Carolina Panthers shouldn't feel too badly about the way they're playing, but by the same token, they need to do something offensively too.
Second down and 6. Williams again. Maybe a yard and a half on the play.
The Bills have started to stack the box right in around the line of scrimmage. 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and then George Wilson, the safety, walks right up and becomes a 4th linebacker as well. So they have 4-4 right in front of the offensive line of the Panthers, and really the Panthers are still continuing to run the football and get it to 3rd and 5 on 2 hard run plays against 8 guys.
Third down. Panthers are 2 of 8 on third down conversions. Delhomme looking over the middle, caught King, and he will not get there. Stopped at the 20-yard line by Drayton Florence. Drayton Florence has had a good game today, Steve. We've called his name a number of times. Yeah, great coverage and some very nice open field tackling.
And he had an opportunity for maybe 1 interception that he dropped, but right there, the back end of the Bills defense is doing an excellent job. Jake Delhomme has nowhere to throw the football, even though he's standing back there with nobody in his face.
Played in the SIAC at Tuskegee. Baker. And Jackson over to the sideline. Directional punting by the Panthers. Jackson. And he's out of bounds at the 45. Bills with nice field position and the lead, 7-2. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker. As Ryan Fitzpatrick in for Trent Edwards, who suffered a concussion last week in the second quarter at the Meadowlands against the Jets. Out. First down and 10 at the 44. Marshawn Lynch, the handoff. And Steve, what's the story on Trent Edwards? When do they expect him back?
Well, it's week to week, and it's his second concussion.
Second down and 6 to 48. Another handoff, Fred Jackson this time. Now, you had a number of concussions during your career. How many did you have?
I can't remember. I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, I seriously cannot remember. I think it's somewhere between 3 and 6.
Wow.
If I have a bad day, I claim 6. If it's a good day, I claim only 3. But it's a very difficult injury to quantify and to evaluate. So they'll be very cautious with their quarterback, Trent Edwards.
3rd down and 5 of the 49. Great opportunity for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Out of the shotgun. Fitzpatrick. And that one incomplete. Intended for Lee Evans. Some miscommunication between the quarterback and the receiver. And Buffalo will have to punt it away.
And once again, Ryan Fitzpatrick has a little bit of pressure from behind. Charles Johnson getting him as he releases the ball. And that's, you're right, Gus, you called it. That's a different route than the route Fitzpatrick was throwing. Evans broke his route off and came across the middle, and he threw it to the outside.
Ryan Moorman getting a lot of work. This is his 6th punt from the 35. And he angles this one to the corner and out of bounds. Welcome back, 7-2 Buffalo. And how about this stat? Punts 6, first downs 3 for the Bills. First down for Jake Delhomme at his own 14. Underneath, D'Angelo Williams with blockers in front of him. And D'Angelo Williams takes it out across the 25 to the 26. George Wilson with the stop, but it's a 12-yard gain. And Williams gets up a little gimpy.
It looks like he tightened up with a cramp. Don't know exactly what it is, but you're right, Gus. He's not quite running the way he normally does, but no problems for the Panthers, at least in their roster. Jonathan Stewart is every bit up to the task.
First down. Delhomme firing up the sideline, open receiver, got it! Barnage, the tight end, all the way down to the 22. Nice touch for Jake Delhomme. That's a gain of 52.
That's the best throw he's made all day. Barnage going out to the sideline. McGee kind of got caught up inside looking at Jeff King, but Barnage, the 2 tight ends running down the far side. They spread it out, spread the field, and Barnage sneaks up, gets out of McGee's way, or gets out in front of McGee and makes the catch with a great throw for Delhomme.
First down and 10 at the Buffalo 22. Here's Jake looking backside, scrambles, and in the corner, incomplete. But when we talked to Jake Delhomme at their facility on Friday, he was very interesting. He said, I'm oblivious to what's going on in the outside world. I really don't care. I have 2 daughters, a 6-and-a-half-year-old and a 2-year-old. I spend time with them, put them into bed. We're confident that eventually things will turn around. He said in the NFL, you're always 2 weeks away from the outhouse or the penthouse.
That's exactly right. And he is focused completely on making this offense better. He doesn't care what people are saying. He doesn't have time to worry about it. He's worried about his job and getting better every day.
2nd and 10. Delhomme again, scrambling, dumps it underneath. And it's Stewart, Jonathan Stewart with a 3-yard pickup. Keith Ellison swinging him to the ground.
Well, with a 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8 coming up, they're in field goal range, but I don't know how much comfort they'll take in field goal range given John Casey's first half.
John Casey's missed 2, a 39-yarder and a 43-yarder. Sometimes you just wonder for Coach John Fox. Remember the Super Bowl? John Casey kicks the ball out of bounds, gives the Patriots the ball at the 40-yard line. The rest is history. 3rd down and 7 at the 19. Stewart, stiff arm, leans forward and gets to the 13-yard line. George Wilson cuts him down after a 6-yard gain.
Well, I'll tell you what, they have got a lot of confidence in their run game to hand it off on a 3rd and 7. And I'll tell you what, John Fox is not calling for John Casey right now. He's looking at how close it is. It's a 1-yard go, and they're going to go for it. I'll tell you what, I agree with it. And I'll tell you another thing. I'd hand this ball off. The way that Carolina Panthers run the football, they're playing against the 32nd ranked run defense in the NFL. Hand it off and expect to get it.
4th down and 1 at the 13. Stewart. I don't think he got it. How about that? 32nd today, number 1 at the moment. The Buffalo Bills defense come up huge, and they turn back the Panthers.
I'll tell you what, Gus, I like the call by John Fox, but I like the play by the Bills defense even better.
Welcome back. Buffalo with a 7-2 lead. And the football after denying the Panthers on a 4th down and 1. Now the Bills take over at their own 15. It was a 2-yard loss on the play. Ryan Fitzpatrick under center. Here's the handoff to Marshawn Lynch. And Lynch pushes the pile forward and gets to the 20, a 5-yard gain. Let's take a look at that last play.
Well, Jarris Byrd kind of came in late on this play. Watch as Jonathan Stewart sticks it in there. He stopped, and then Byrd comes over the top, tackling his college roommate, Jonathan Stewart. They said they're the closest friends in the world, Jonathan Stewart and Jarris Byrd, together at Oregon. And they talk all the time and couldn't wait to face each other. And in that play, they really did face each other.
2nd down and 5 at the 20. Underneath, Terrell Owens with the catch. Chris Gamble jumps on him, and it's a gain of 4.
Watch this. As Gamble goes in, gets his arm inside. Now you see Terrell Owens once on he gets, and we've said it a couple of times. These quarterback sneaks. Sorry, Gus. We've got a couple of times where Terrell Owens has dropped the football, and on that one, how do you come out, get a guy's hand on the ball with yours, and then pull it in, and then drop a pass that you should catch?
T.O. in his 14th year. You take a look at the sneak by Fitzpatrick. 1st down. Delayed handoff, Marshawn Lynch. And Lynch taken to the ground by Tank Tyler. After a 2-yard pickup.
I'll tell you.
Tyler traded from Kansas City for an undisclosed draft pick. 3rd-round pick initially with Kansas City in 2007. Started all 16 games last year. 2nd down and 8 at the 28. McIntyre and Lynch. Here's Fitzpatrick rolling out of the pocket, wants to throw, dives forward at the 30, picks up a couple. Landon Johnson giving chase.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick came out. It was a called bootleg. Rope contained, and the receivers down the field looked like they didn't even turn around and look for the football. It's like they expected him to run it no matter what, and Fitzpatrick, no question, was wanting to get rid of that football and had nowhere to throw it. Nobody even looking for him to throw it.
3rd down 6 from the 30. Bills need to go to the 35 and a half for 1st down. Fitzpatrick throwing off his back foot. That one sails out of bounds. He was under tremendous pressure by rookie Everett Brown, their 2nd-round pick.
Yeah, he had no chance to complete this. He ended up, this ball got halfway to the receiver, and Fitzpatrick was on his back. Watch, he throws off his back foot, can't follow through. And that's happened all too much for the Buffalo Bills today.
7th punt for Brian Moorman. When Erlin is standing at the 21. And he fields it at the 15. And goes out of bounds. Today, 113 total yards, 70 yards rushing on 14 carries. 1st down at the 23. D'Angelo outside. And he runs right into Florence, who holds him up. And Posluszny, Wilson combined on the tackle, but it's a gain of 4.
You see there's Williams coming off again, and that's classic. You see how he climbs to his feet with his knees locked. That's classic cramp body language.
So Williams out, Stewart in, 2nd and 6. Along to the sideline, Steve Smith, nice catch. He gets out of bounds at the 34, make it the 35. And Carolina picks up a 1st down.
Yeah, and if you're not going to get up tight on Steve Smith, they'll throw the hitch or they'll throw the quick out like they did. That's just a quick 10-yard out. Ball's thrown on time, and he reaches up and grabs it. That's a hard route because you have to sit right where you're sitting if you're going to defend it. There's no way to defend it if they're not going to get up in his face.
5 catches, 51 yards for Smith. Stewart, ooh, hard running there as Stewart is taken down at the 40-yard line. Ryan Denny, as you say, Steve, throws himself under the chariot.
Yeah, that's, you know, one of the differences today has been Carolina's ability to get good yardage on 1st down. Now it's a 2nd and 7 or a long 6. Gives them an opportunity. That running game on 1st down has been outstanding for them. And it gives them a chance to convert 1st downs that the Bills aren't able to.
Stewart averages 5 yards per carry on the season. 2nd and 6. Malone, play fake with time, over the middle. Picked off! Bird! Down the sideline! Can he get a block? Cuts it in! And the rookie does it again! 2 interceptions for Jairus Byrd. He returns this one 32 yards, and the Buffalo Bills are in business.
Gus, it seems when there's a ball tipped or batted in the Bills secondary, Jairus Byrd is always right there to grab it. Delhomme gets a little snake bitten on this one. This is not a bad throw, a little high and outside, but Steve Smith can't get up to get it. He gets a hand on it, which is sometimes the worst thing, because you tip it up and put it right into the hands of a defender.
1st down and 10 for Buffalo. At the Carolina 27, Jackson lines up in the backfield. Fitzpatrick to throw, scrambles, and he dumps it. Panthers defensive line getting really good pressure on Fitzpatrick, and the numbers on Delhomme. He's thrown 12 interceptions this year, 2 today.
Yeah, one of the things about this front 4 for Carolina, even when Fitzpatrick breaks contain and gets himself a little more time, the front 4 is still so fast, he can't get to the sideline and buy himself more time. He buys a little bit, but only enough time to throw it away.
2nd and 10. Terrell Owens in the slot at the bottom of your screen. Fitzpatrick looks that way. Underneath, caught, but this time it's Lee Evans inside the 15. Gamble with the tackle, a 14-yard gain. Fitzpatrick, thank you, JB, out to Lee Evans, who is taken down at the 10. So 2 big interceptions in this game by a rookie. Delhomme throwing interceptions to Jairus Byrd, 2nd-round pick out of Oregon. His father was a terrific player, as well as a current coach with the Chicago Bears. Jairus Byrd, 2 interceptions on the season, on the game rather, and he told us that his father always drilled at him that this is a game of inches.
No question. And he's getting all the inches in his favor the last 3 or 4 weeks.
2nd down and 7 of the 10. Fitzpatrick underneath. Terrell Owens with the grab. And he is tackled at the 7. A flag.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 96. Illegal contact to the helmet. Half of this to the goal. Automatic, 1st down.
I'll tell you what, Gus. In the way the league is built these days, you almost don't want too much pressure on a quarterback, because sooner or later somebody tries to swat a pass down and they touch the quarterback's head, or you hit him a little too low, just above the knee or below, or you hit him someplace where the umpire or the referee feels like it's too much. To me, that's not roughing the passer.
That is not roughing the passer.
But that's the way it is. You get too much pressure, and sooner or later, you get a bad call, or at least a questionable call.
First down and goal at the 2-yard line. Jackson. And he dives forward.
The Buffalo Bills, up until that play right there, Gus, have been first and goal once all season. And it was on opening night against New England. This is the second time all year that the Buffalo Bills have been first and goal to go.
Dick Duran and his offense faced with a second and goal now at the 2. 2 running backs in the game, both Marshawn Lynch and Fred Jackson. Lynch has already scored a rushing touchdown today. Fitzpatrick calls a timeout. 7-2 Buffalo with the football on second and goal at the Carolina 2. Fitzpatrick to the line of scrimmage. Marshawn Lynch, the lone setback. They fire. Touchdown! What a strike, Lee Evans.
Wow. That play happened so fast, Gus. I don't think anybody knew where the football was. Lee Evans turned for the ball, and Fitzpatrick put it in his gut. Wow, what a strike by Ryan Fitzpatrick. Where did that come from?
Lee Evans with his 3rd touchdown of the season, and Buffalo takes a 14-2 lead on the road. Bank of America Stadium in downtown Charlotte. Lee Evans. You won't see a better catch and throw than that in traffic. And now Buffalo taking a 14-2 lead. Mike Goodson allows it to take a bounce, and he will take a knee. Carolina will start from their own 20.
You know, Gus, like this game has gone offensively, the Bills haven't done very much of anything, and yet they've played well enough, or at least their defense has, maybe to take the Carolina running game out of it a little bit. Carolina might feel the need now with 13:52 remaining in the 4th quarter to start trying to throw the football to make some points up to get back in this game.
Buffalo with 95 total yards. Incredible. Carolina 333. First down, Delhomme swings it out to Stewart. And Stewart running hard, gets out of bounds at the 30. But we've seen this happen to the Bills a couple of weeks ago against Cleveland. Buffalo dominating the game, and they lose.
Yeah, and it really, the only stat that they say that matters, and they're right, it's that scoreboard, Gus. You can do a lot of crazy things. Well, like the New York Jets running for 300 yards against this Bills defense, but turning it over in the air 6 times and losing. Tough to do, but it happens.
First down at the 32 for Carolina. And Delhomme. Far side, incomplete. That one thrown high for Kenneth Moore. Ball just sailed on Delhomme and went out of bounds.
Yeah, it's going to be right at the top of your screen, out on the sidelines, and this is wide open. All you have to do is put it out there on him, and this gets right over his head. That's not a great throw. Still, the Bills looking for a way to get more pressure on Delhomme. He has not been pressured very much. The pocket's been real, had a lot of integrity, step up in it and wait, and just hasn't thrown the ball well enough to complete enough.
Second down and 10. Here comes the blitz. Delhomme tried to set up a screen, incomplete. Stewart, closest man to the ball. And that brings up 3rd down and long.
And I tell you what, I think we were right, Gus. Watch, Stewart's going to come down and move right out here. But they have not handed the football off. They came out trying to throw the football to get back in this game, and this is not what this team is built to do. This is a power football team, and when you're down by 12 points in the fourth quarter, you start to have to try and throw the football a little too much and beat your opponent left-handed when you're behind.
D'Angelo Williams, wide receiver at the top of your screen, empty backfield for Jake as he drops. Scrambles and goes down. Great job, Chris Kelsey. First sack of the day for the Bills. And that will force the Panthers to punt.
Well, they ran a game up front in the offensive line. Watch here, they're going to go cross this way with Stroud and Kelsey, and the offensive line loses its leverage, and there's a crack in their protection, and Kelsey fits right through it.
Fred Jackson back deep, waiting for the Jason Baker punt. Baker inside his own 10. Bills should get good field position here. Jackson from the 30. Jackson bottled up and taken down at the 34. Welcome back, 14-2. Buffalo with the football. Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jake Delhomme, the two principals at quarterback. Fitzpatrick going up top. He's got Evans. Got him! Down at the 15! "50 yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick dropped back and threw that one like Jim Kelly.
Well, the Panthers were up in a Bears defense. They had single coverage on both sides, and Fitzpatrick told us yesterday, when I see Lee Evans one-on-one, I know he's going to win, and he let this ball go, and this is also a great throw by Fitzpatrick.
First down, Marshawn Lynch. And Marshawn Lynch gets back to the line of scrimmage. John Beeson, the middle linebacker. And the numbers on Lee Evans. What a speedster.
And they had 8 guys in the box, did Carolina, daring them to throw it, and they did. Lee Evans, a fast receiver with good hands, not a big physical type receiver, but one who runs precise routes and gets separation with his speed, and on that one it paid off.
T.O., receiver at the top of your screen. The pitch, Marshawn, and Beeson there to bring him down.
Oh, John Beeson is so fast inside. The Bills tried to get to the edge, and they had no chance at all. John Beeson ran faster than Marshawn Lynch could get there, and was actually waiting on that play at the point of attack as McIntyre stays down for the Bills.
Third down and 12 of the 18 for Buffalo. Fitzpatrick looking, dumps it off, Marshawn Lynch. And Lynch is wrapped up and dragged backwards at the 12. Charles Johnson, first man to him, 6-yard pickup. Corey McIntyre is okay. He was helped off the field. We will update you on his status as soon as we know something.
This will be Ryan Lindell in to attempt Buffalo's first field goal attempt of the day.
From 30 yards away for Lindell.
John Casey missed both his field goals into this end. So we'll get a chance to see if it was Casey or the wind or the conditions.
Lindell, 10 of 12. Mormon the holder. Up. And good. The Bills take a 17-2 lead. And that gets Coach Duran fired up on the sideline. A lot of Bills fans in attendance. They always travel well.
There's a lot of transplanted Western New Yorkers down here in Carolina. The area around the town around our hotel was completely covered with Bills jerseys. People walking around on the streets last night and today getting ready for this game, and not all of them were from Western New York. Some of them had transplanted and live down here now. The interceptions have been really the story of Jake Delhomme's season, unfortunately.
12 interceptions on the year for Jake Delhomme. And Buffalo prepares to send it away with a 17-2 lead. Bills will play Houston at home next week. If they can hold on and win here, they'll go home with a chance to improve their record to 500. Mike Goodson. And Goodson crosses the 20 and gets up to the 21-yard line. John Corto and John Wendling combining on the tackle, a 22-yard return. All right, JB, Miles Austin, what a season he's having. Destroyed Kansas City. Delhomme in trouble and sacked. Aaron Schobel, 4th sack of the season. A loss of 7 yards.
It looks like he coughed that ball up too, but the Carolina Panthers got it back. Schobel coming in, just kind of staying with it, kind of a hustle sack. Pocket collapsed around Delhomme, had no chance.
Delhomme back to the line of scrimmage quickly. Looking downfield, fires over the middle. Barnage with the catch. And a 13-yard gain. Postluzny with the tackle.
Once again, Gus, you get into this point of the game, you're down by 15 points in the 4th quarter. You got to throw the football. It's not what this team's built to do, but that's what they're asking Jake Delhomme to do right now, is come back, score some points, and get back in this football game late.
Delhomme again, that one deflected, incomplete. Lot of pressure on Delhomme. Aaron Schobel with a hand on that football.
And they're going to go for it here on 4th and 3 after this deflection by Schobel. Gets his hands up, and that's where you got to be, careful. Schobel gets his hand up, and if he hits Delhomme's helmet or face mask anyway, it could be a personal foul for roughing the passer. Even if it just brushes by, it's all a judgment call by the ref, but no call on that, and there shouldn't have been. But the pressure now, after all this time in the entire game, is finally starting to get to Delhomme when they're in a pass or a must-pass situation.
They're going for it on 4th down and 4. Delhomme in the shotgun. Fires up top, and it is Steve Smith! Down at the 21! Bird with the saving shoestring tackle. And here comes Carolina.
Well, the Bills send everybody. They go man up all the way across the football field. One free safety. Everybody else is rushing the passer. Steve Smith, hand fights, pulls that in. Jarvis Bird does make the saving tackle, and it gives Carolina a chance inside the 25.
So on 4th and 4, they pick up 47. Here's Delhomme underneath. Jarrett. And he spins down in front of Drayton Florence.
Well, it's never easy for the Buffalo Bills. You think you've got the lid on the game, and all of a sudden Carolina spreads it out and starts throwing it, and Jake Delhomme comes back to life.
2nd down and 3. And a whistle. False start against the Panthers.
False start. Offense number 67. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, Steve Smith finally getting into the game. The last 2 games he had 6 receptions. Well, he got 6 today, and that's the kind of production they need from him. In fact, it's about, you need to get him at least 6 throws. He needs a couple more, Gus. I think he's got to get almost double-digit catches if he's that good a receiver, which he is. They got to find more and better ways to get him the football, preferably down the field, but not necessarily.
2nd down and 8 at the 22. Delhomme dumps it off to Williams in the flats. D'Angelo still on his feet. And gang tackled at the 14-yard line. D'Angelo Williams picks up 7. Keith Ellison, John McCargo there. And this hurry-up offense, very effective for Carolina. It's changed the tempo. Substitutions hard now for this Buffalo team on defense. 3rd down and 1. Underneath, that ball deflected.
They got hit right at the line of scrimmage. Looked like by Ryan Denny. And now that incompletion gives the Bills a chance to get some fresh bodies, at least in the defensive front 4, onto the football field. Ryan Denny right here. No, that's Spencer Johnson, who actually steps into the throwing lane, and that's always dangerous. We've seen it once today. The ball gets tipped, an interception.
4th down and 1. At the 15, D'Angelo Williams in the backfield. Carolina gambling again. They give it to Williams. And Williams still running. Touchdown, Panthers. Whoa, 15 yards on 4th down and 1. And we got a game here in the Queen City.
Well, I mentioned earlier, Gus, that when you get into make a team that's a power running team and make them an all-pass team, they kind of got to beat you left-handed, but they get back to what they do best. Hand it off and pound it in. Poor tackling by the Bills. Great blocking up front by the Panthers, and it's a touchdown.
Casey in to attempt the extra point. And it's good. Carolina converts on a 4th down and 4. They get 47 yards. Then on a 4th down and 1 from the 15, D'Angelo Williams marches it into the end zone. And with 6:28 to go in the 4th quarter, we've got a 17-9 game.
Yeah, it's out of the shotgun. Watch D'Angelo is going to step up over here and then break with the ball right through that gap. And as this play develops, the Bills get up the field with their pass rush. He steps right in, and Marcus Stroud just slips right off of him, as though D'Angelo Williams was a greased pig. Stroud goes from the top right to the bottom and never brings him down. That's 2 missed tackles on the way to a 15-yard touchdown. Jeff Davidson calling that play, a little inside handoff out of shotgun, and it resulted in a touchdown.
So what do you do here, Steve? You kick it deep and play defense.
Yeah, I think so. Again, the Bills' offense has not proven to be effective enough. They've got their hands team on the field. Make them play offense.
That's what they do. Reese Lloyd sends it deep. Ball picked up. Terrence McGee. McGee down the sideline. And McGee with some running room, and he goes out of bounds at the 40. Nice return. Carolina with 3 timeouts. Buffalo with 2, plus the 2-minute warning coming up.
There's plenty of time. 6:21 left in the 4th quarter. Buffalo is going to have to do something offensively to put this game away. Their defense has come up big. It's time for their offense to try and match it.
Here's the handoff. Fred Jackson. A yard.
Carolina will take a timeout. John Fox calling the timeout very quickly after that play, trying to conserve as much time as possible rather than timeouts. And at this point, I think it's a good move. The Buffalo Bills have shown a propensity to go 1, 2, 3 and out when they don't get a turnover. They've got to get the football back to Jake Delhomme, and given the momentum their offense has, the sooner the better for John Fox.
.6:14 remaining. 17-9. Bills with the lead, faced with a 2nd down and 9. 4 3-and-outs today for Buffalo. John Fox wants pressure on Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, the Harvard man. Audibles at the line of scrimmage. Handoff, and Jackson knocked down Chris Harris again. We told you at the top of our telecast that he is the best hitting member of that secondary. And Harris comes up and makes another big play.
And this is gap control defense. This is a 1-gap defense. Every defender has a gap to be responsible for. And when they do it right, there's simply nowhere to run. Freddie Jackson steps up, and right there on the outside, Chris Harris steps up into his gap. And Freddie Jackson and Chris Harris come face to face.
3rd down and 7 at the 39. Biggest play of the game for both teams coming up. Dick Duran and the Bills want to keep the chains moving and the clock going as well. But for Carolina, they want to get that ball back for their offense and give them a chance to maybe tie this game. 3rd down 7 to the 39. Fitzpatrick out of the shotgun. Movement. Let's see.
Somebody jumped in the neutral zone, and the guard in front of them stepped up, stood up. It's going to be a question as to whether. Now, the defender can jump into the neutral zone and get back if he doesn't make contact, but if he causes an offensive player to jump offside, then it's a penalty on the defense. Now, they're having a talking that exact thing, because Eric Wood, the right guard, stood up, and it was obvious that he wasn't drawn off, but the defender was still in the neutral zone when Wood stood up. I think it should go against Carolina.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Good call, partner. So instead of 3rd down and 7, it's 3rd down and 2.
Now, the defender can jump into the neutral zone, but he can't touch anybody. And what happens is, you see there, that causes the offensive line, or theoretically cause them to jump. That's illegal on the defense. And of course, Eric Wood, the right guard, he wasn't drawn off by the motion. He just stood up knowing the rule and said, hey, wait a minute, he's in the neutral zone. And that's what, both those guys did the right thing for the Buffalo Bills offensive line.
3rd down and 2 at the 44. Fitzpatrick in the shotgun. Run the reverse. T.O. Can he get around the corner? No! Great defense by Carolina. Chris Gamble stops him in the open field. And the Panthers, with 5:52 and counting, will get it again. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion can tie it.
Terrell Owens catches this ball out of the air, and it looked like for a moment he was going to make it, but no. This defense for the Carolina Panthers is so fast, they snapped it off, and they're going to get the football back.
Mormon has been terrific punting the ball today for Buffalo at the 30. Moore back deep. This one, a line drive, returnable. He drops it. Oh, loose! Who's got it? Buffalo! Wow.
The Buffalo Bills have been the victim of the exact same play on special teams twice this year, and now it goes in their favor. Roscoe Parrish 2 weeks ago bobbled a punt return in Cleveland. It cost them the game. And here, Kenneth Moore has it go off his face mask, tries to pick it up. It squirts loose and ends up in the hands of Derek Fine, the tight end.
The special teams have done a great job today for Buffalo. Some hard tackling. And now a huge break, Steve Smith.
Steve Smith helping him out. I mean, there's no question. That's what a leader does. That's what a great player, really, that's what makes a great player a great player. Helping guys when they're down, making them better when things aren't so good.
Bills with the football at the Carolina 20. 3 turnovers today for Carolina. Marshawn Lynch. And Lynch will lose a couple of yards. 2nd down and 11. The handoff to Marshawn Lynch, trying to get around the corner down the sideline. And Lynch goes out of bounds at about the 17. 3rd down and 7 now for Buffalo at the 17. Fitzpatrick to throw. Fitzpatrick puts it on Reed, and that's a 1st down. In front of Richard Marshall, and that may do it. An 8-yard gain.
And this is a nice little out. Josh Reed getting some separation just short of the 1st down, and then carrying Marshall right on his back past the marker and staying in bounds and letting the clock run. That's as big a play as the Bills offense has had all day, just when they needed it.
1st down and goal at the 9-yard line for Buffalo. Marshawn Lynch breaks it back, dips his shoulder, and gets inside the 5.
That was a good, patient run by Marshawn Lynch, finding his spot, the soft spot in the defense. And right now, Gus, you can tell the Carolina defense is really over pursuing. They were all over that play where it was supposed to go. And as Marshawn Lynch pulled his nose back out of the pile, he found a gap that let him get inside the 5.
Moore, after fumbling that punt. Kenneth Moore, second-year player, alone on the bench. 2nd and goal at the 3. Marshawn. And he goes backwards and loses yards. Finally stopped at the 7 by Landon Johnson. Carolina calls its final timeout.
And they're going to give him forward progress inside the 5, although he did lose a yard or 2. It could have been much worse as he battled for extra yards. It looked to me like he didn't go down until the 7-yard line. Dick Jauron talking to his special teams coordinator, Bobby April, probably about the fact that they're going to go for the field goal right here if they do not get into the end zone on 3rd down. And Gus, if there's anything I think I know pretty well, this ball's not going to be thrown.
A wise, wise, wise move. 3rd down goal of the 3. Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. Here's Marshawn Lynch straight ahead. And he stopped at the 4. Hollis Thomas first man to him. That should take us to the 2-minute warning.
And that was well played, even though they didn't get the first touchdown. Well played by the Bills offense. Run the football, keep control of it. Let the play get down to the 2-minute warning and get the 3 points.
Welcome back. Kenneth Moore, who muffed the punt, allowing the Bills to take over deep in Carolina territory. It may result in points right now. Ryan Lindell, good from 30 yards today, attempting one from 22 yards out. And it's good. Buffalo takes a 20-9 lead with under 2 minutes to go.
And this is right there, as you see Kenneth Moore, Gus. And this is one of those rare opportunities when you get a chance to redeem yourself. If the ball comes to him, make a difference.
And this one kicked out of bounds. So the Panthers will get it at the 40.
Kicked out of bounds, kicking team. Ball will be placed at the 40-yard line, 1st down.
How do you do that?
That is the first false move the Bills special teams made all day, and it was off the foot of Ryan Lindell. That's the one thing you didn't want to happen, aside from giving up the big return. But that, you know, as I said earlier, it just never seems to be easy for this Buffalo Bills team under Dick Jauron.
Carolina out of timeouts. And alone. Down the field. Incomplete. Flag on the play.
This is going to be a personal foul.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 91. Blow to the head. 15-yard penalty. Automatic, 1st down.
Well, in one play, that gives them 15 yards. Maben comes around the outside, and 91 Spencer Johnson comes in, and that was hard to see even there. They hit it, and that's what I've been talking about the entire game. It goes into the hands of the referee as to whether that's a personal foul or not. And on that one, he threw the flag.
So the Bills kick it out of bounds. Panthers get it at the 40, a personal foul penalty. Now they have it at the Buffalo 45. Jake Delhomme steps up, sideline, caught out of bounds. Muhsin Muhammad. A 7-yard gain. 2nd down and 3 here for Carolina. Delhomme back to pass. Throwing down the seam, incomplete. And another flag on the play. Barnage, the intended receiver.
And this one's going against Carolina, Gus. It's going to be a hold on the offensive line.
offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Travell Wharton, the left guard.
And this is a tough right here, right in front of Williams. As Spencer Johnson comes up the middle again. Spencer Johnson getting a good push, and yeah, he pulled him down from behind as Johnson spun out of it. It was an easy call.
Second down and 14 at the 49, a minute and 39 remaining for Jake Delhomme and the Panthers offense. Delhomme down the field for Barnage and picked off. George Wilson. 3 interceptions today for Jake Delhomme. And the Buffalo Bills defense, 9 interceptions in 2 games.
That has been the story here today in Carolina. The Buffalo Bills defense, on a day when their offense could not get anything going, come up with 3 interceptions, 2 to give them a chance to score twice, and the last one to ice the football game. And it gets worse and worse in 2009 for Jake Delhomme.
George Wilson, his first interception of the season. Ryan Fitzpatrick, how about him though, Steve? He comes in for Trent Edwards, gets his first start of the season after coming over from Cincinnati as an unrestricted free agent.
Ron Meeks, defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers, forced to watch his team put up with a kneel down from the Buffalo Bills on a day when his defense didn't deserve it. And Perry Fuel and the Buffalo Bills defense can walk a little prouder knowing they put up a really good effort against a power running team.
Bills do it again with defense. 3 interceptions. And Buffalo wins on the road for the 2nd straight week.